Greetings, royal queens and kings. It's your host, Queen Tulsa, and welcome back to the Queen Tulsa Show. I am so excited to have you here. And listen here, we are going to be reviewing the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 9, Episode 11. And this episode is going to be Secrets of the Love Lagoon. And one thing I got to say, let me just say, besides like Miss Dr. Wendy really showing up and being fabulous, I have seriously gotten my life from all of the new girls, all of the melanin, and it's just been an easy breezy season for me this year, right? On episode 11, heads turn as Karen hosts her Secrets of the Love Lagoon party, and Gizelle and Ashley show up with their booze to give them a test run with the ladies, but eyebrows raised when an unexpected guest arrives. Meanwhile, Keiarna airs out her relationship issues, and Mia gets grilled over her SE ex life. Now, listen here. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the show. So we're gonna start with Mia. So Mia, in the first episode, the first part of the episode, she takes her kids on like this mommy date, and I guess it's pretty much to clear their mind, of everything that's going on with um with her relationship with Ink and Gordon. And you know what? I can really say that I really kind of feel so sorry for those kids because they have to watch their mom prance around with a new guy. And the divorce, like the ink on the paper isn't even dry yet. You get what I'm saying? The ink on the paper isn't even dry. Like they hadn't even went through the process of, okay, well, it's almost close, or I don't even think that they went to like mediation or anything like that. But I do want to say that Keiarna, I'm gonna just call her Kiki. Kiki, it seems like she's trying to show up for Mia, but I kind of feel like Kiki has some things that, maybe she could tighten up on. But let's just stay on topic. So, like I said, she Mia took her kids on a date to kind of clear their heads due to the divorce and ink. And my opinion on the relationship is, I think that she needs to kind of do what Stacy's doing, like not living with a guy, not really being intimate with a guy, because for heaven's sakes, Mia, you have a daughter. You have a daughter for heaven's sakes. So those are my thoughts on that. So Stacy meets Giselle and Karen, and they chat. They having like a cool little girl chat, ladies chat, and I feel like they were getting along a little bit. But it was a few shady moments. Let's talk about that. There were a few shady moments, child. It was a lot going on. So they talk about, Miss Karen is explaining how she, what goes on at the parties because this is Stacy's first time, Jazzy's first time, and Kiki, she's a long time friend, so I'm pretty sure she's been. So they talk about love, sex, joy, and fun. Karen and Giselle, they grill Stacy and tries to give her tips, being that they've been divorced before. And you know what? It's nothing like getting some good tea, some good advice from women that's been down that road before, you know. And my thing is just kind of take what resonates with you, like you don't have to take everything that the ladies say, but just kind of take what resonates with you, or even just listen for that matter. You know, just give it a listening ear and just kind of run it over, and just don't be if you're like me, I just kind of like to take what resonates with me, and just kind of run it through, think it over, And as I'm making progress, then I think about those things that I've spoken about. All right, so let's keep it going. So let's see. So Giselle says TJ is giving his D away. And you know, with that comment right there, I kind of felt like Giselle was kind of overstepping her boundaries. It's like, you're my homegirl. I can kick it with you. I can rock out with you. But when I feel like you're just being too shady, I felt like that was a shady comment. Like, are you jealous? You know, but we'll figure out if she was jealous or not because Giselle, makes a big old statement on here on this episode. And my feelings about that comment was, everybody isn't a Jamal Bryant. You know, everyone isn't a isn't a Jamal Bryant. Let's get up into that. And y'all already know Jamal Bryant has had a little history of not being faithful in the past. Okay. So let's get on to Dr. Wendy. Dr. Wendy invites the ladies to shop. And one thing I can say, once again, Dr. Wendy is eating it up with these looks. I mean, it's the green, it's the pink, and oh my God, her skin looks so good. Like, she's just like glistening like a black Barbie. Oh my goodness. It's just so much greatness there. But I'm loving, like I said, I'm loving the melanated ladies. And it just shows like, you know, these ladies are more than their looks. You have Dr. Wendy there with like 4 degrees. You have Stacy there that's been she's been a news anchor, worked in the field, done her, due diligence. You have Jazzy, that's went to college, that's a business owner. When you talk about philanthropist and, charity events and really giving back, and then you have, oh, you have Karen as well. Miss Karen loves to give back, but is Mia? I want to say Mia is starting to like hoe out the show. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm gonna give her a chance, right? So eventually, the ladies are talking and they're having fun and they're trying on outfits. And then when Dr. Wendy surprises the ladies and tells them that they are going to Central America. They are going to Panama City. And you know what? I'm so excited. Child, they were in there talking about who was gonna wear a thong, child, who was gonna be doing this and doing that. And you know what? I'm so excited. I mean, we saw the trip that they had taken to North Carolina, which was cool. I enjoyed, everything about it, but I'm ready to see them like out of the country, like, just around a different vibe. They get to go out. I wonder if they're going to go out and kick it at the club. Hey, Wani One, how are you doing? Very curious about that. Okay, let's get right back into it. All right, so Mia wants to invite Jacqueline to the Love Lagoon. So she goes on over to Miss Karen and she says, I know your invite says bring one. And I wanted to know. And before she could get it out, Miss Karen was like, no, I'm in a place where I've set boundaries. Miss Karen said, you know what? No, I am in a whole new place. I'm doing things different. Like I'm on a whole nother path. So all this he say, she say back and forth. And Jacqueline, you know what? Jacqueline, she really messed up because remember earlier in the episodes, I believe it was like 2 or 3 when they were at the table and Giselle had passed out like hats and she had given the newbies like derby hats. Well, that particular episode, Jacqueline said that Miss Karen had called her and it sounded like she was drunk, you know. So it was that comment that did it for her. you know. So Mia embarrasses Jacqueline in front of the girls to say, she was like, "Well, I asked Karen," and then Stacy was like, "All right, that's my cue to, go and walk away." So she says, "I asked Karen if you could come to her party, to the Love Lagoon," and she said no. And so Jacqueline says, "I didn't want to go anyway." Yes, you did. You did want to go. You wanted to go. So listen, we're going to skip on over. You said, "I'm well, thank you. Gratitude for coming by." Yes. All right, so get into this. So it was so, oh my goodness. Okay, so now we're going to go over to Kiki. So Kiki is at her house. Her boyfriend and her brothers are at home. And so she didn't know if they were going to be traveling out the country or if they were like going to Florida or whatever. And so she goes on to explain, like, there's been three divorces. um and her boyfriend was like, or her fiance or the guy that she's seeing was like, "It's not because of the show, is it?" And really, can you blame him for asking, like, okay, is it because of the show? Because you're saying that you want to get married, and the ladies have had their situations. We know Giselle, ended up single, and Robin was, you might as well say she was single because, that's a whole nother story. And we're not even going to bring her into this season. Let's get into Stacy and her Aunt Dora. I love Miss Aunt Dora. Aunt Dora has a personality. Okay. I love Stacy as well. So Aunt Dora is her father's younger sister, and pretty much they grew up together. And so they're sitting there chatting. And so Andorra wanted to know if Stacey had met anybody. She was like, "Are you dipping your toes?" And so she says, "Yeah, I'm seeing someone, I have a friend." And she's like, "Well, how did you meet him? What's his name?" And so she was like, "Is it the cutie that I seen on QVC?" And so she was like, "Yeah, we worked together." And so she was like, "Is it the dude that I saw on QVC?" And so I just thought that that was really cute. But she was like, "You little sneaky thing." But with Stacy, I mean, this was her employee. I mean, this was her coworker. I mean, how do y'all feel about dating in the workplace? Gotta see him every day. Or you know what? Sometimes people do have work boyfriends, work girlfriends, honey. So sometimes I guess it works. But I wonder how would the dynamic work outside of that? And it seems like it's gonna work out for the better. I mean, Stacy, she's a fun girl. Um, I think that she's a little naive, but however, I feel like once she gets through this divorce, I think that she's going to stand on her own too. But hopefully, she can do it sooner than later. All right, so let's get into. So he has. So Aunt Dora wanted to know, has he met Nacy Bales? And so Stacey says yes in passing. When she was working for the station or QVC, in passing. So the coworkers would see her daughter in passing, right? All right, so let's get into this. So her Aunt Dora says, "You got that fine man." She was like, "But we're not sleeping together." Aunt Dora says, "That's good. It's not an easy thing to do." And I want to say that that's a good thing too, because it shows your daughter that you have some self-respect for yourself and you're not just praying to no man around your daughter. I get that you're like dating and stuff. I think Mia needs to like tone it down and have a visit with Stacy. Okay. I believe that Mia and Stacy need to have a conversation because Mia could learn a lot from Stacy. And this is Stacy's um, you know, first marriage, first divorce. And guess what? They have a lot in common because Mia was with Gordon for all those years, about 16, 17 years. So they're about close, and I was gonna say close in age, but close in marriage as far as like the years invested, right? All right, let's get into it. So, one thing at a time, get a divorce, then embark upon is what Andorra, told Stacy. And you know what? I think that we all need us a Andorra. Andorra, if you're watching, how you doing, Andorra? Okay, and we love you. Absolutely. All right, moving on. Gizelle goes on her date. Okay, no, 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 no. I'm speeding it up. So let's get back to the speed date. I missed the speed dating. Okay, so Gizelle and Ashley, they set up the speed dating, and I actually thought that it was cute. And I'm so excited that Giselle decided to give it a chance because the way that she just stares down to other women when they're with their partners is very cringe, okay, to say the least. Let's get into it. So they go on speed dating. I actually thought that was cool. There were some very interesting guys there. I feel like the ones that they did select, which was Namse and Josh. So Namse, that's Giselle's new boo, and Josh is Ashley's new charity case. Okay. Those are my thoughts, those are my opinions. That's in my head, okay? Giselle goes on her date. So I'm gonna speed it up now. Giselle goes on her date. They have some chemistry. He definitely has charm. Namsa is his name. So long story short, Giselle likes her drink straight, no chaser. Honey, she sat down, she got the Cal or something like that, and she just wanted it straight on the rocks. And then she wants a man to get very rough with her. Giselle said that she wanted a man to get very rough with her, and apparently that turns her on. See, she was saying like, Namsa, he better not be being too nice. She needs somebody to rough her up a little bit. And we're gonna get into roughing up a little bit, okay? All right. So the Love Lagoon party, we're at the Love Lagoon party right now. So the mermaids are introduced. Ray was enjoying the show and the sight, honey. And the Grand Dame said, no, sir. We're not gonna do it. They were out there by the pool. And I must say, Miss Karen, that was a beautiful idea. Just to see those mermaids out there, just up and down, up in that water. It was giving me like so much life. It was giving me so much life. I got my entire life. Seriously. Okay, so let's get into it. So now everybody's on their way to the Love Lagoon party. So Ashley lets Josh drive her to the party. Also, Giselle and Namsa is in the back, and everybody's just vibing out. Um, so Mia tells this to her first time seeing Giselle. Okay, so no, let's get up into this. So they have like car chatter and things like that. So everybody finally makes it to the house, the men's son, the Grand Dame's home. So they're all sitting out there on the back patio. And like I said, the whole decorations was everything. Miss Wendy felt like Miss Karen had stole her idea or took some notes from her gathering. Because remember, it was an all white, you remember her birthday party? It was like all white. It was just so beautiful. So they're there. And so Mia tells Giselle that this is her first time seeing Giselle with a man. And Giselle says, get into it. Mia says, I am. So they're having like little chatter back and forth. And so now we're going to speed it on up. Now it's time for the Love Lagoon. So they play, as I stated before, they talk about love, relationships, all of the things. And so they get to the questions. So the question is, do you feel like your partner has ever cheated? The shade of it all. Miss Karen says, we just gonna get right up into it. So Ray says no. Then he says he doesn't believe his wife cheated. And that's Karen. Y'all, when I tell you every week, I looked around and everybody was on mute. Because they were making allegations that Carrie had cheated. That night when she had got drunk, she was allegedly supposed to be with her boyfriend. So then they started playing like Um, you know, the replays are like clips before, like in the past. And so you have Gizelle on cam, you have Robin on there discussing blue eye man gates, you know. So Stacey, Giselle, and Karen. Okay, so we're gonna get up off of that. Moving on. So Stacey, Giselle, and Karen feel when TJ is in LA, he's doing his thing, if you know what I mean. He's being an adult. He's being an adult. Giselle says she thought they weren't a couple, and she asked, "Are you sleeping with anybody in LA?" Girl, this dude gonna say, "Yeah, my Bugs Bunny." And so the ladies and gentlemen, they didn't really feel, what I'm saying, they wasn't really feeling that little comeback, right? So let's move on. So Giselle says oh, okay. I read that part. Okay, so Giselle says me and Karen told Stacy to try plenty of peens. And this was the thing. Why would you tell your girlfriend's business these things in front of the man that she's trying to get to know? And you see how serious he is about her. Whether if you want to feel like he's, you know, undercover or whatever the case may be, I respect a man that respects my marriage. She's currently married. And so I respect a man that's going to say, "Hey, we're not going to make any moves because it's kind of like overstepping the boundaries and it's somewhat adultery, you know." And so I don't know, it's just not a good look. You know, like just process of getting divorced, go ahead and make it final and then, do that because divorces can be very stressful. But some people they just move on. So Stacy had enough. And so she says, "Well, off of me and on to Jazzy." Listen, when I tell you that this took me out, when I tell y'all that comment took me out because I'm like, okay, now she throws Jazzy up under the hot seat. Let's get into it. Turn it. Okay, I've got to use that setting next time. Okay, so Darius reads the question: do you feel like your partner has cheated? And so Jazzy says, "Do you?" And so he says, "No, I don't." And so she says, "Well, I do. I don't have proof, but the question was, do you feel?" She said, "I feel he's cheated, but not on Jazzy." Okay. And so he made that very clear. And you know what? I respect anybody that comes forward and say, "You know what? Yes, I have, and it wasn't with you." And really, take accountability and really vindicate you. Really vindicate you because, vindication is everything, to clear a person's name because not everybody's out um with ulterior motives. There are still some good people. Um, there are still some good people around. So Jazzy says, so they started replaying the clips of her timeline of when when she was saying about her man and when she had met him. And then, you know, the the parts that, that people were kind of side. Well, I'm not gonna say people were kind of where the ladies were side eyeing her because they were like, "Hold on, the dates aren't adding up and things like that." But she also said, "I never caught the man cheating, but I'm not an idiot." So shout out to Jazzy. Okay. So Mia says she cheated on Gordon So she said that Gordon never cheated on her, and and then she said that she cheated on Gordon and was passing the card, all while drinking and watching. But she pretty much got called out on it. I think that this next episode is going to be lit. And the reason why I say I feel like it's going to be I feel like it's going to be lit is because Jacqueline was uninvited. And Miss Karen had let that be known at the shop. And I just kind of feel like when you're just popping up to someone's house and they ask you not to come, I feel like you're overstepping your boundaries. I feel like you're doing way too much. And I think that you need to take a chill pill. That is very dangerous. Listen here, this concludes our live review of the Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 11. I am your host, Queen Tulsa, and thank you so much for watching so long.